Okay, so this is going to be a quick tutorial on using the Jailer plugin. Just a quick rundown if you didn't read the stuff on Spigot. Basically, it's going to provide a incarceration system for bounties, mayhem, whatever, on your players. And it supports multiple jails, and basically that works based on distance. So whichever jail you're closest to, the jail cells that you define in the config file, that's where it's going to send you. You're able to define all that information. It has GUIs and things like that for players to look at and see who's, arrested, or pay the fines for someone else if they can pay them. The two plugins you're really going to want to have with this is going to be Citizens, and if you're on 1.8, Sentry. Otherwise, 1.9 plus, I would use Sentinel. I actually think Sentinel is a lot better than Sentry is, so that's up to you to what you want to make to work. 1.9 through 1.11 as of this recording, I would use Sentinel because Sentry doesn't really work with them so well anymore. So let's go down this. When you get the plugin, you download it, run it on your server, and it's going to create a file in your plugins. It's going to be in the plugins jailer, and you'll see it as config.yml. When you open that, you're going to see this file that you see on the screen right now. The first ones are going to be permissions. These are permissions people are required to do things. So if you want somebody to interact with a judge, you're going to have to give them the jailer intact, as this says right here. If you want them to be able to see who's in jail, who's wanted, or people have escaped, then that. Locations, that's more of a, I would say, a admin side. I don't know how much I actually implemented this before I stopped updating this temporarily, but it should be in there. So, down below, these are basically going to revert to currency. As you damage somebody, you create points. So when you damage them, it is 76 points default in the file. If you murder someone, it's 2,400. If somebody's going to pay off their fines, that is how much they're going to pay. Escaping adds another 1,500 to it. But with the escaping, you can't pay off your fine anyway. You are pretty much set to not be allowed to pay off any of the fines, and other people can't pay for you. It just basically adds into the time. So if you want to give them a really large number for escaping, that keeps them in jail a lot more. Or if they escape, log out, come back somewhere else, teleport, then they basically become an escapee, which I'll show in a little bit, and they can't pay it off, and the NPCs will be hostile to them based upon these. Now, for me, I use zperm, and it's completely up to you what you want to use as far as a permissions plugin or grouping. I just use zperm because it's easy for me. So, for example, so if you look at the screen, you'll see that I have fugitives, jailed, and wanted criminals. How these break down is the wanted criminal side of things is going to be when you hit somebody or damage them. Now, if you're doing just a hit, you're going to get a warning, which you can kind of see over here on the right here, this warning message. And then you can also set the maximum damage, so you can give a lot more if you want, but I set it to 3 by default. So if you hit somebody for 3 damage or less, then you're going to get a warning message, and you only get that once. If you do it again, it's going to turn into a bounty. So your wanted or your max damage on that will basically last, I believe, 25 seconds to a minute. I forget offhand. It's something I'll have to look up and type later. And that's how that works. Now, this max distance to a jailer. This is an NPC that has a jailer trait on it. So your guard, your jailer warden, as you want to call them, if they're outside that distance, and I cannot find an NPC in that range, then they don't necessarily get a bounty. These are NPCs that are just outside the range, and if you have this set to false, they're going to warn you, but they're not going to be able to get anything, and your NPCs or your players are going to be able to damage them. Now, this was done for the simple fact of I have some missions through Benton Quest or Beton Quest, different things like that, and I don't know if you're aware, I wrote the NPC destinations, which on one of my servers I've been playing around with, I have points to where players are allowed to kill people because they have quests to go kill off an NPC, which changes missions and a bunch of other stuff that kind of scramble around. But the thing is, they have to look for guards. These numbers right here allow me to make it to where there's always guards patrolling, but there's like a narrow window where they can sneak in and get to an NPC and kill them without getting a warrant. So there's a couple things that add into this to make it a little bit more fun. You can add some other plugins, and you can do quite a bit. So basically these are your settings. The ones that you're going to want to edit, and I'll show you in a second, are going to be these ones right here. These are your jails. You can have multiple jails all over the place, multiple worlds, things like that. So let me go through, and we'll go into the Minecraft real quick. So if you look on the front page of on the plugin, the Jailer, you're going to see a picture of this building. And I do use this for an example. And there are some numbers that point out things. These are the cells right here that you see where the arrow is. And over here is where I'm going to put a warden for the players to interact both outside and inside. Typically with the warden, I like to make it to where, I only have one, and I usually make them change based on hours of the day, things like that. But you want to make it to where people inside can get to them, as well as the people outside it that want to check on their bounties, who's got a bounty on it. There's some other plugins I've been working on I haven't put in public yet for going out and grabbing people with a bounty. And one of them is basically putting a potion effect on them and you drag them back to the jail. So you get a certain amount of time to bring them back to the jail and get your money for capturing them. So with that, we're going to put a couple NPCs, but the first thing we want to do is create a region. So for what I do for this one, select poly, and you have to forgive me, I've been sick for 3 weeks, so sorry if my voice sounds like crud. I'm going to select the points around the jail. Do not use the actual wall, because sometimes people can scoot into that wall and it'll change the way the regions work, and they might get caught outside even though they're really inside. So I like to put at least one block outside the walls. Like so. And then I'm just going to expand this up 5. If I could type. I guess I can't type at all. No, it is 5 up. Sorry, it's late. Been driving for about 4 hours straight. Okay, so this right here is basically our layout of the jail. We want to make it this. You could come across here and block this off right here and not make this part of the jail. You don't really need to. I just did because why not let them get stuck in here? They're eventually going to get killed by a guard if they go outside the store. So let's create the region, test jail. Oops, you got to define. So region, define, test jail. Now, there's nothing special about this. Both the test people I'm in are ops, but you're going to want to give them permission to use the buttons. Now, you don't have to. You could actually use it to block getting out that door while they're in the criminal mode or things like that. There's a ton you can do, but I'm not going to go into World Guard and all the flags and groups. So after that, let's clear that out. We're going to create an NPC in here. And we're going to put them right here. NPC create warden. And after that, what we're going to want to do is basically give them a trait. So it's going to be trait, not trailer, jailer. Now, the warden or prison guard, whatever you want to call him, he has a couple special things. So when you do jailer on him and you say is judge, because it used to be a judge, but whatever, it adds a new thing. And that is the ability to get this menu. The regular NPCs will not pull this up. This is only when you set them as a judge. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is create a guard. And so let's do /NPC create. I'm going to name him guard. NPC equip. Ooh, cool. Look, he's got a Santa hat and underwear. Festive. Trait, jailer, PC equip. And let's give him a sword. Exit out of the equipment editor for citizens. And make them look close. And then let's do a path. I use my destinations for this to create movement around the world, but the path editor or any other kind of movement plugin for citizens would be great. This just kind of makes them wander around. And now we want to give him his guard. So trait is guard is going to trigger them to actually attack based on the groups. So when somebody attacks an NPC that isn't a citizen's trait, unless you have it to where they specifically have to have a citizen's trait, which is this one right here. Having that as false will protect any NPC in your world, as long as they're within distance of a jailer traded person. Otherwise they're going to give you a warning, but they really don't do squat. So we're going to give him the guard. Oops. Jailer is guard, my bad. Did I type it? No. Next we're going to want to create Mr. Punching Bag. I don't even know if that'll fit. Whatever. So he is now basically just a punching bag. And as you notice, he gave me a warning because I punched him. Now, the one thing we need to do with this is we're going to have to pull up the jail cells and put them into the editor. So what you're going to want to do is basically you're going to come down here and you're going to say, what is my position? If you notice in the top, I have voxel map, I think it is, that provides this. So you can see the positions. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come over to your file and you're going to want to edit it. And in here you're going to basically type in the region, which is test jail, I believe. And then you need to put in the positions of the jail. Now, for me, I already have them typed out because I don't really feel like going through and selecting every single one of them in this video, but you get the point. You can come in and look and say, hey, here's a point, I want to put that in, etc., etc. Once that is in there, you're going to want to save this file, and with that, go ahead and save it, and then you can restart the server. So let me do that real quick. And then I'll restart it. Don't think I added a command to refresh the config. I will at some point. This plugin will be getting another update. It does have a database in it. Don't use it right now. Let it do it pretty much its own thing. The only thing it's there for is Leader Heads by Rob Rami, and it's not fully integrated with the current version, so I wouldn't use it with that for now. I will get it there, I promise, because this is something I want back on my server, and I've been working on one, but I just haven't finished. Alright, so this is back up. Now let me join in my other fake person here. Now, what we need to do is select this guard. Oops. Alright. And you're going to want to go in here and you're going to want to put in trait sentinel. I can't type, I'm sorry, I'm tired. And then with sentinel, you're going to want to add a target. And it's going to be a group. So for this one, you're going to want to do wanted criminals. I don't know if it is case sensitive on Sentinel or not. I just stick with it just in case. Let's see. And the fugitives. You can also add jailed to a Sentinel group. Now let me give you a little bit of what that can cause. So people might get out of the jail and they'll come here. And for me, I have this door auto open. If that guard sees them and can get to them through Sentinel, he's going to come in and attack them. If he makes it through this door, everybody in the jail is going to get killed and sent back, and yeah, you don't want that. So I tend to put, is for a guard of the jail, I don't give them the jailed. Now, it really shouldn't matter too much, because when you do this correctly anyway, it's, once they escape here, they're going to get converted, and I'll show you in just a second how that works. They're going to get converted to fugitives. So let's do this. Game mode 1. So this guy right here, which we have not added a trait to or anything like that, we're going to punch him. There's warning. Now I'm going to keep hitting him, bring up my stuff. He's invincible, so I'm not really hurting him, but, oh. Sentinel does not attack you if you're in creative, but now I'm not, so he's going to see me in a second. Accept. Remove, ignore, owner. So basically right now, Sentinel by default, if you created him, the NPC, and you own it, you don't get targeted by him. So now that I've added it, he's going to come and attack me. So now I've been arrested. I'm in jail. Let's see how much I owe and how long I have to wait. I don't think I have money on this one. So my fine is 1,368, whatever you have for currency. And I have 1 minute and 2 seconds. You can see other stuff by doing jailer. And this will bring up this window. So this gives you your history, pending charges, murders, assaults, things like that will add up in here. So you can kind of see what you're out there for. You can see I've been arrested. I've only been arrested once. I've escaped 0. I've got no murder charges on me, and it tells me when I hit somebody, and it is exactly midnight, so this is going to show just a 24-hour clock, and when I was last arrested, which was December 12th. And I still have some time left. Now look at this. I'm going to get converted. Oop, he got me before I could do it. But if you notice that right here, it says, the guards have noticed your escape. You'll be unable to pay your way out of jail. Well, that's cool. Let's go try and pay. And you don't get the gold bar. So if somebody was to come up and look at this, I'm not on there. I'm not on there. But this one I am. Ooh. Oh, I already served my time. The time ran out while I was looking at it. So let me bring this other person in. Let's get him into the jail. Okay, so my other player just got arrested, and as you can see on the screen, yep, got taken to jail. So if we go in here, you can see Mr. Test has a 2 minutes 43, $3,000, and I don't know why the double dollars are on that one. So I'm going to make him escape and become a fugitive. I put him into creative so he can't you are a fugitive. So wanted is when they're a criminal, and if they've escaped, they're a fugitive. So this is Mr. Test. He has a bounty of that, and that's when he escaped. So let's put him back in jail. So now it arrested me, and I'm in jail. I cannot pay my way out, nor can anybody else pay for me. And it says I have 1 minute 52 seconds. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get this guy out. But you pretty much get the point of what this plugin does. Since I time's up, I am no longer wanted by this guy. If I go and hurt this punching bag dude, then I will be wanted. So let me run over here to where hopefully it doesn't chase me down, which it will for a while. And now he's given up. And I have a status of wanted. I got 14 seconds once I get arrested. And I'm assaulting Mr. Punching Bag. But, I test on this server all my plugins, so that's why there's so many NPCs. Invincible? I can't remember. Or no, he's Sentinel, I think is what it is. Or maybe, I don't know. Let's go kill somebody. Now I've killed him, and your murder did not go unnoticed. You're now wanted for the murder. So if you were to go into Jailer, now you can see I've both assaulted the guard and murdered him. So now I have 3 minutes 21 seconds. If you change those things in the config file, you can make your players wait for quite a while. My numbers are a lot higher, so that people, when they do get in there and do that, they tend to pay the price and have to stay in jail for a while. Yeep. Which, I don't know why I didn't, I'll have to look into that, why it took me in and freed my bounty so quick. That's probably a bug. But you get the point. That's how this thing works. And let me make an NPC over here just to show you what happens. It's out of 25 range. Can't help this guy. So this guy, if you notice, your bounty does not go up. What is it? I forget what the command is, and I probably cannot spell for squat today. Vulnerable, that's it. So, notice I did not get anything for that because in the config we have it set to 25, but if I come over here and that guy is in 25, he's not attacking me because I'm a creative, but if I go uncreative, you'll see that I have it. So there you go. And I have 1 minute 28 seconds. I think I got some money on my account. That might be why. I'll have to look into see what was going on with that. It might be a bug in the thing, so I'll dig into it, and hopefully pretty soon I'll get this updated again. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you are another player and a person is serving, you can pay their fines for them. So another player can come in, you know, which would be, they'd come into this one right here, and they'd say, hey, I want to do player serving time, and I had that guy kill me. I think he still has me in a target. I haven't, Sentinel, I might need to look into clearing the targets, but somebody else could come in and pay my time off. And it keeps going down based on your time left. So yeah, reach out to me if you have other questions. At some point I'm going to make another video of this once I clean this plugin up a lot more. I want to add some more stuff into it. I know there'll be Beton Quest on there, which I think I actually have some. I haven't really gone through the source code in a long time, so you have to forgive me on what I remember with this. There's also some other things I want to work on to where you can basically get the other players. I started working on it, but I haven't finished it. Other players can pick you up and carry you back and collect the bounty. And then I also want to do something to where over the head of the player it will put stuff for the bounties on them. So that'll be another thing that's coming at some point down the road. Yeah, if you have other ideas of what you want, let me know. But yeah, that's basically this goofy plugin that not very many people use, and that's probably a good thing because it's not really done all the way. But it does work. You just have to set up a few things, which are kind of a pain. But other than that, who knows? Enjoy.